I want to start with a rhetorical question. When you're speaking to a director, a filmmaker, a student, trying to persuade them that you're the composer that they really need for their project, what is it that you think is going to make the difference? Do you think you're going to be able to convince them by showing them the spec of your computer? Perhaps they're interested in exactly which violin or piano libraries you've got. Perhaps they want to know what academic qualifications you've got. Do you think that's going to swing it for you, make you stand out from the crowd? Or do you think it's going to be able to put a fantastic portfolio in front of them? Show them that you know what you're doing, that you're a true creative soul, perhaps that you've scored for this exact genre before. To show them that you understand how to underline the action on the screen and not overwhelm it, that you know what a spotting session is and how to work to a brief, that you've worked with spotting sheets, to show them that you understand how to make your amazing skills as a creator, as a composer, still subservient to their vision as a director, and help the greater whole to be all the better for what you bring to the table. And sure, if you've won a big film scoring competition, that can only help. And I imagine that if you show them that you're a really active part of a wonderful creative community, always learning, always sharing, always supporting, that can only help. That you're a nice guy or girl to work with. Of course, I'm being a bit facetious. Computers are very important. It'd be quite difficult these days to make music without one. There's a minimum of hardware that you need, at least probably a pair of headphones and a keyboard of some sort. You definitely need some sound libraries and some good ones. The standard of work out there these days is fantastic, but it will only take you so far. I'm not belittling libraries, of course. We live in truly wonderful times. The quality of the instruments that are out there now, the recording spaces, the musicians that are out there, the technology in general is just absolutely sensational. A lot of the libraries, of course, are free or very affordable. It's really a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be a composer. They're not necessarily going to grab the attention of the director and make him think that you're the man for the job or woman for the job, but they can be great tools for inspiring you, for unlocking that creative block, and just some tools are perfect for some jobs. There's no two ways about it. But the reality is, of course, that the thing that's really going to make the difference is being able to convince them of your creative chops, and that you're a nice person to work with, which is not to be underestimated. To show them, to illustrate to them that you understand not only the art form, how to make people feel, but you also understand the process, how to work with a director, how to work with the images on screen, how to work with notes that you might not necessarily agree with, how to be part of the whole team and not an individual. You're not looking at this project as a vehicle for your music. All of these important things, I think, are what's going to set you apart. All of this, of course, brings me to talking about the Q-Tube. And one of the hardest things for me to do, actually, is when I speak to people and they inevitably ask me what I do, and I try to explain what the Q-Tube is, and particularly, of course, when it's for people outside of our industry, it can be quite tricky to define what exactly is the Q-Tube. Is it a video library? Is it a film production company? Is it a social network for composers? Are we educators? Is it an educational resource? Is it about competitions, masterclasses, charities, fundraising? Is it about getting jobs for composers and sound designers? These are all very worthy things. And I would argue that the Q-Tube is all of those. And I think that we are getting better and better at doing all of those things. It's extremely muddy here, as you can see. Welcome to the north of England. But above and beyond all of that, my sort of vision of what the Q-Tube is that it's a community. So then we have to ask, well, you know, this is a very popular word these days. It's bandied about a lot by a lot of companies and individuals. What does it mean? What does the word community really mean? And in particular, what does it mean regarding the QTube? So since we launched back in 2020, which seems an awful long time ago, it's become apparent to us how sort of valued and appreciated these types of resources are that we offer in our library, but more so how massive and how massively talented the pool of composers, in particular sound designers too, of course, is out there all around the world, just poised, primed, super talented, raring to go, trying to get into this industry. And it's become equally apparent to us how bloody difficult it is to get into that industry. Lots of people are making money and getting lots of views on their YouTube channels, claiming to be able to give you the secret sauce that will help you to get into the industry. But we realized that obviously the key ingredient is hard work and commitment, which most of you have got, and then it's all about networking, and it's all about exposure to opportunity. And we've realized that not only can we sort of be useful by providing resources, assets, but more so we can be an advocate on your behalf. We can be a gateway, we can be a stepping stone, and there are lots of different ways that we can do that, and that's really what we want to do. The QTube has always been about trying to help bridge that gap between talent, desire, and sort of ability, and opportunity and success. So how are we doing that? Well, first of all, just by looking at our assets, we've tried to make them progressively, as we've gone on, much more real world. So we've introduced spotting sheets, we've introduced demo scores, we've broken down those demo scores, we've done situations where multiple composers score the same clip, and you can see how they approach it. And of course there's not necessarily a single right way to do that, and I think one of the great things that we bring to the table as the QTube is an amazing opportunity to take a given clip, have a go at scoring it yourself, and then put it out there with the hashtag, and that does so many wonderful things that are difficult to get elsewhere, which is, first of all, lots of people who are interested in that clip can find you using the hashtag, and equally you can find them, and you can see how tens, possibly hundreds of other composers around the world, all from different backgrounds, all with different cultural influences, all at different stages on their journey, have approached the exact same challenge that you have, and you can't help but learn and grow from that experience. Another thing that we've done is try to create the best scoring competition that we can to shine a light on the talent that's out there. And I can tell you that some of the people that have done well in our competitions have actually found that that's been a really useful springboard to help them get at least up onto the next rung of the ladder. These competitions are really not to be underestimated. Not only is it a great growing experience and it's something great for your portfolio, but if you think about it, over the score relief competitions that we've run, composers have, by virtue of that, they've had the opportunity to have their music heard by the likes of Michael Danner, Christian Henson, Guy Mitchellmore, Nainita Desai, Sarah Vaughan, Carlos Rafael Rivera. Your music is out there with the potential of being seen by people like that. People who would be absolutely fantastic, I'm sure, to be connected to. So we're trying to bridge that gap all the time. Another thing that we've learned as we've grown and gathered momentum and experience and contacts is we've learned that we can leverage those contacts and that experience to be able to start developing resources which are entirely unique, entirely ours, untroubled by difficult license negotiations with third parties, restrictions imposed by production companies and directors. We can actually create assets from start to finish that are entirely ours to use for your benefit. And of course this creates knock-on benefits. We're able to give people within the community the opportunity to work on those projects, which is really a great thing to have in your portfolio. But we're also able to leverage those projects, those films, once we've made them, to start making inroads into the film industry. So we can start knocking on the door of film networking events, film festivals, film organisations, producers, directors and writers, we've actually got something to show them and to talk about that they will understand. And then we can start to talk about our community, and we're starting to shine a light on our community within the filmmaking world, which has always been the vision actually. And you can see how that's slowly happening. If you look at Score Relief this year, if you look at the judging panel, you can see that it's not just composers. We've got animators, we've got directors, we've got all sorts of different skill sets who are starting to sit up and take notice of what the QTube community is all about, and it really is fantastic. And some of the comments and feedback that I've had from those people who are not necessarily composers themselves, but they're filmmakers, about the quality of work produced by our community in entering the Score Relief competition has really blown them away. And we really can blow them away. What we're creating here, what you're creating here, is really something that's going to take the industry by storm, I'm quite sure. So as you know, we've recently completed and released our first professional film with Tara Fitzgerald. Really exciting. Not always easy, of course, to do those things. There have been little challenges, learning experiences along the way, particularly with regard to time scales and that type of thing. We really could have and should have done things much more quickly. But I was very much taking a position on this one of sort of sitting in the back seat and watching the professionals do it, to sort of learn, ready for the future. And so Anna's been fantastic from that point of view, but it definitely could have happened a little bit more quickly. So apologies to anyone that's been affected by that. But you know, we've learned that lesson, and we'll be bringing that lesson to future projects. It really is muddy here. So we got that film, and we're you know, leveraging it, we're using it to get attention in the filmmaking world. Whoa. And we're already in quite serious conversations now with a number of different writers and directors. I'm gonna have to find a different path. This is far too muddy and slippery. So we're talking to a team out in California about drama film, which is short, very poignant. These guys have produced some fantastic work. They've won awards for previous projects, and we're really excited about the opportunity that is under discussion to collaborate with them on their next film and bring that as a resource to our community. We're also talking with another team about 2 superb documentaries out in South America. One of them is a short, one of them is a feature. I can't say anything more, but there are meetings going on. I'm flying down to London next week to speak to them. They're based in London, and yeah, this could be an incredible resource for us. And then of course we're looking at doing more of our own projects from the ground up, which is obviously much better in the sense that well, not better, but it has the advantage we get all of the assets, it's completely ours, and we're also able to provide opportunities for sure for members of our community to be involved in those projects. Whereas if we're sort of supporting other people's projects in return for some assets, then we're not necessarily always able to create opportunities directly for members of the community to be involved in those projects. So we're really looking at a spread of different types of projects, all with different types of benefits. As always, we're looking at lots of different genres as well to keep it varied and interesting and useful for you guys. So let's go back to my question about what community really means. I look at it like this. There's a very symbiotic relationship between what you guys out there are doing, what you want to do, and what we're actually trying to do at QTube headquarters, if you like. And that really is what community is about. So through our membership model, by joining up and becoming a member, you directly immediately benefit by heavily discounted access to our fantastic resources that we've built up over the last 4 years, and access of course to the community, being able to speak to fellow creatives. We benefit of course from the support that means in order to help us to sustain and grow this project. The resources that we get, the money, we're able to put into future projects, developing more films, doing a lot more networking within the film industry, and all of that activity that we're actually able to do because we have the financial resources to do it, then comes back, folded back into the community and benefits everybody. So this is what it's all about from my point of view, is that you help us and we help you, basically, to put it in very simple terms. The QTube really is genuinely, unlike some of the organizations out there that claim to be, we are genuinely microscopically small as an entity thus far. We only started monetizing just over a year ago. Everything was free up until then, and now it's just myself and Archie. I've never taken a penny out of the business. I've funded everything basically up until the point where we became monetized, and then we've been able to slowly make it self-sustaining at the very least. I've not been able to take any money out of the project as yet, just to give you a honest idea of where we are at the moment in our journey. I'm massively appreciative of everybody that does support us one way or another, and there are lots of ways to support us, not only through membership but by spreading the word. So we're never standing still, as you know, and one of the things that we've done now is that we've streamlined our rather complicated membership system into a single membership plan. So it's the same for everyone. It's £9.99 a month, or if you choose to pay it annually, it's £99.99, which equates to about £8.33 a month. So that's 25% cheaper than it was previously. One of the things we're trying to do is to try to filter out a little bit those people who are only in it for themselves and they're not really understanding the idea of community. For example, they come in for £1, take all the resources for themselves, and then cancel their membership. It doesn't really help anyone, and nothing good is gonna come from that kind of approach for anybody. So we're really trying to pitch this, if you like, at people who value what we're doing and get basically the idea of this symbiotic relationship and this community and how it's a win-win for everybody. Another thing in the background behind these changes that we're making is that we're working closely now with prestigious institutes around the world to try to get access for students for free, basically. So the universities sign up and we provide them with access for their students for free. And this new simplified membership model is actually one of the components that will help us to make that whole process more straightforward, more attractive, higher value for them, and so on. So if you are a student, speak to your university and get them to contact us, because we're putting some great packages together for universities. There's all sorts of exciting conversations going on at the moment, so this change to the membership model is also all part of that. So there's a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different reasons why we're making these changes, but it's all to the good, because the ultimate outcome is that we'll have better resources for you, so you'll have the better showcase to impress those directors and producers, and we will also have more and more inroads into the film industry, so we'll be able to sort of advocate, as it were, on behalf of our community and find those keys to those doors to help you to break in. And just to clarify for anybody who's already a member at one of the lower tiers, it's £1 a month or £5 a month, starter and premium, we haven't sort of cancelled your membership or anything. We're not planning to do that, at least not immediately. So you'll be able to continue with your membership, but the membership, those levels of membership are not available to any new members. We are thanking you for being with us on those tiers of membership. We definitely appreciate that, and we're going to continue to give you the same access for now, to thank you really for your support and to show you the quality really of those extra resources. Another quick word about education. So I'm a real strong believer in playing to your strengths, and our strength is not in setting ourselves up as an educator, trying to compete with many that are out there who are infinitely better qualified, but rather to partner with them. And so, as well as working with institutes to get free access for students, we're also setting up relationships with people like Mike Ladisser with his Orchestral Composition Accelerator and his Film Scoring Academy, and Zach Heidi with his Composer Bootcamp, and things like this. We're cherry picking, we're finding relationships with people where we really admire and enjoy what they're doing, and we feel that it'll bring genuine value to our community. So yeah, that's the bigger picture, that's what it's all about. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to everybody that has supported us over the last, well, since day one in 2020 really, but especially those of you that have supported us through membership and through Patreon. Negotiating the puddles here. That's made all the difference, and I hope that you can see the results. I think you can. I think if you look at where we are now in the beginning of 2024, and you compare it with where we were even 18 months ago, you can see a huge difference in terms of the quality of our resources. And that's really down to that. It's as simple as that. You know, if we have some money, then we can do good things, and if we can do good things, then we can provide you with much better quality resources and opportunities and materials to work with. Pretty easy really. So take care everyone, enjoy your day, have a wonderful creative day, keep creating wonderful music. What you've been doing lately, especially on Score a Leaf, has absolutely blown us away, and I look forward to you blowing us away even further over the coming months and years. Take care, bye for now.